Welcome to Seeress, or welcome back. My name is Tia. And I always like to open with a prayer. I say, Most High God, Most High God, Most High God. God fights my battles. God fights my battles. God fights my battles. No weapon formed in the spirit or in the physical shall prosper. I am highly, highly, highly protected, as are my viewers, and divinely, divinely, divinely favored. We just call on the messages from the Most High God, that there be no interference, and we ask Archangel Michael to please set strong boundaries, that there be no monitoring spirits, no familiar spirits, no demons, no jinn, no seducing spirits, no trickster spirits, no evil spirits can penetrate this space. And we call on Archangel Raphael to please support us in our spiritual healing work that we're doing here tonight. And we call on Archangel Gabriel to please help me to receive, interpret, articulate, and deliver these messages in the way that the Most High God deems to be the most appropriate. We call on our guardian angels, for your protection, your wisdom, and your guidance and your messages. And we call on our ancestors who are of the Most High God, who've received Jesus Christ into their hearts, who've come here in peace and love. We call on you for your protection, your wisdom, your guidance, and your messages. And we call on the Holy Spirit to shine your divine truth onto these messages that we will receive here tonight. We just ask that everyone viewing these messages get, some healing, be for their best good, help them to develop their own discernment and their own spiritual gifts. And we ask these things in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, on that note, these are collective messages or intuitive stories, however you like to think of that. So you will need to use your own discernment, your own intuition. I shouldn't be talking about anything you don't already have some idea about. Energy is fluid. So I can be talking about something that's already happened, something that's currently happening, or a timeline that you may shift into in the future. So I always set the intention that these messages be timeless. So whenever you click on it, there's something in here for you. Only take what resonates. Never force anything. If you start feeling scared or angry or triggered, just click off. Not in a rude way, but that's just not for you. There are so many amazing readers on YouTube. And they might be tapped into a different timeline that day. So maybe that's a different message for you there. On that note, some of them are, I would be a lot more careful. So always check the spirit behind every single message that you receive, including mine. How do you do that? First, always lean into your connection with the Most High, your own intuition. You can always use the Bible as like the Word of God as a benchmark. But if you're still confused, it's probably just not for you. And just leave it. And if you like watching this kind of content just for entertainment, you are absolutely more than welcome. Just don't take on anything that doesn't belong to you. All right. I'm sorry I'm getting on here so late today. It's been a crazy day, and I had a work conference that was later, and it ended up going over a while, so here I am. I'm here for you, man. Oh, and I'm not offering personal readings right now. So if anyone offers you one or approaches you, I don't charge any money for any services on this channel. So if you're ever approached in that type of way, that is not me. That's a scammer. Do not get suckered in, okay? So I like to cut the deck with when I do that with my left hand. And the reason I use my left hand is because my left hand is my more passive, receptive hand connected to the right side of my brain. And God gives us two hands, one to give and one to receive, and we're asking for a message. So that's why I like to do that. There's some drama going on. The title of this song. There's drama. And it says, miss you. So, somebody misses you. But that in itself might be some drama. Oh, the star. Somebody's being guided by the divine. Yeah, that's the Star of Bethlehem. So they're being divided, they're being, almost said divided. They're being divided by the divine. There's never any mistakes, so. Somebody's being guided by the divine, and you know, we know this is the three wise men, right? That's what's depicted in this picture, following the Bethlehem star to go, you know, see the newborn Christ or whatever. But this is a group being divided. So some are being guided by the divine, and some are being divided by the divine. Yeah, the divine, it's divine intervention, whatever it is. Okay. The rebellion against David. Okay. I can barely read anything anymore. The king was shaken. He went up to the room above the gateway and wept. As he went, he said, "Oh, my son, Abeldam, my son Abeldam, if only I had died instead of you. Oh, Abeldam, my son, my son." 2 Samuel 18:33 in the NIV. Okay, so this is when, like, there was a rebellion up against King David, and they breached the gates and they killed his son. And like he's saying, that hurt him more than if they would have just killed him. So there's a lot of grief. You're being divinely guided. Some people are being divided. Oh, yep. I get a little bit. That's a confirmation, really. Yeah. The divine is dividing some group of people. And some of them are being divinely guided. It's being divinely guided, the division of this group of people. And it could be a father figure, an authority figure, a leader, is really, really grieving hard because I want to say the dark took one of their children, one of their son, but that's not only going to be maybe only for one or two people. So only take that if that resonates, but they lost something, and this song is closer. They lost something really, really close to their heart, like a child. And they're just in terrible, terrible grief. It was divinely guided, though. There's the divine had a reason for it. But father figure or authority or leader is like really, really grieving. Six of Cups in reverse. This is when Jesus was with the children in reverse. I'm going to look that one up in the book. There's a lot with. And then it's Daniel in the lion's den. I know I say it every time. I love this book, but I always have a hardest time finding stuff in it. Something's been very obvious. Okay, so the reversed meaning is loss of innocence or jaded perspectives, disconnection from one's inner child, complications and overthinking, struggles with trust and opening up, and forgetting the importance of humility. Some group is getting, it's the divine though, is getting divided, and it's obvious. And there's a father figure or an authority figure or a leader, a masculine leader maybe, because when they led the rebellion up against David, his son was killed. And he's just in terrible grief. Terrible, terrible grief. And maybe he feels like it's karma for like losing sight of humility and you know, like maybe karma for the loss of their innocence, or maybe to this grieving father, or maybe even to anyone. Maybe it's like the divine guided this division that caused this loss because of their loss of innocence, because they lost their innocence, or they had a lack of humility, a lack of ethics or morals, and that's obvious. And now he's like Daniel in the lion's den. It's the divine, though. Like, the divine can close the mouth of the lions. Yeah, you can end up in the lion's den with lions all around you. Hungry lions, too. And come out not touched, you know, but not one hair on your head touched, right? Maybe something was being divinely guided too. That was the division. Rebellion. To divide them. Divide him from his son. The lack of humility. All right. This song is called Kiki. It might only mean something to one person. It means something to me because I had a gorgeous tortoiseshell cat named Kiki. I used to call her Keeks. She died of feline leukemia. It was horrible. She was amazing and beautiful. And her name was Kiki. See what I mean? I end up endlessly flipping through this book. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's so hard to find something. All right, well, I have no idea. I'm going to clarify them though. How's that? Hey, if you haven't already subscribed, wouldn't you please at least consider it? If you're new to the channel and you haven't seen my other videos, I have a whole catalog on there if you want to check them out while you're trying to decide. If you've recently subscribed, welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you so much. I'm so blessed to have you. If you're a long-time loyal subscriber, you are more amazing than you'll ever know. I appreciate your support all the time. Please hit the like button and drop me a comment. I would absolutely be so thankful for that because I'm trying to grow the channel and I'm trying to get the videos out into people's feeds so that they can even know there is a channel. I would appreciate it so much. Besides that, I just love hearing from you guys. If you're not comfortable talking on a public platform, believe me, I understand. You can always hit incognito mode if you want to, though. But also in the information tab up here somewhere, wherever, there's a dress code. That's the name of this song. Oh, okay. Well, my official contact information's in there. You can just shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. There's a dress code, huh? It says Maui. That might mean something just to one person, so don't focus on that too much. But I don't know what kind of dress code. Maybe somebody's traveling to Maui, vacations in Maui, is from Maui. What kind of dress code do they have in Maui? We'd probably like it, wouldn't we? It just means sometimes, maybe I'm just kind of, I don't want to overread into the Maui thing, but you know, that does talk a lot about the big island or whatever, right? Well, that's here, but I mean, Maui's more, maybe somebody's getting a job there. There's a dress code there. You need to check into that. I mean, it's always good to kind of understand what is appropriate, how it's appropriate to present yourself in whatever circumstance you're, whatever environment, I'm trying to say, that you're walking into. And maybe that does have to do with this, this message here, because what we're looking at is they were being divinely guided, and this leader here, this authority figure, this father figure, it's a masculine. These are two masculines right here. I mean, in your situation, they don't absolutely have to be. They can be females that are in, because there is no gender in energy reading. But it could be talking about just, but I'm just going to read the cards as they are. These are two masculines. It may not be like your child, but it could be like, you know, your apprentice or your a younger, it's a younger, there's a older, more mature male and a younger, so like a nephew, a younger cousin, a younger brother. But in this card, it's his son, and he lost his son due to possibly this group being guided to come and rebel against this leader, this authority figure, this masculine here, could be a father. You know, you know your story. So only take what resonates, leave the rest, right? But this group was being guided to rebel against this leader or something, and something happened to either like a child or a younger brother, right here, even could be an employee, could be, you know what I mean, but it was he lost him during the rebel. This group came up against him and rebelled against him, and he lost his son in that. Or I mean, it's just the energy of that. You know, you only take what resonates with you. You leave the rest. These are for entertainment purposes only, right? But this father figure, this older masculine here, is just really, 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 really grieving. Massive grief. And it had something to do with a lack of humility, like not having ethical or moral behavior. That could be this group, or it could be speaking to the father figure, the authority figure that is why they rebelled. But in this story, the rebellion, they wanted to overthrow him because God appointed him. They wanted to appoint themselves. Yeah, I mean, I would say this rebellion, it was being divinely guided, but it caused a lot of very, very painful grief. That just really, you know, I want to read that again, but there was a loss of innocence. Caused a lot, maybe this grief, this loss of this son, this rebellion from this group that was actually divinely guided. There was a division here. And caused this father or this authority figure immense grief, immense pain. And that it was a loss of innocence. It caused a jaded perspective. A disconnection from one's inner child, the grief. It created a lot of complications and overthinking. Caused them to struggle a lot with trust and openness, and started to forget the importance of humility. Okay, I'm going to clarify with the situation step. Because now they're in the lion's den. But the good news is the divine light is shining down on him. He's still protected by the divine. Yeah, because they were moving towards him. They weren't running away. They weren't moving away. Remember that title, that song was Closer? They were being divinely guided. Like I said in the beginning, there was a divine division and there was a divine guidance, and they weren't running away from it. They were running towards it. They were not triggered. They were moving steady towards it. Because this, the rebellion against David was actually not toxic. Poison is in reverse. It was actually not toxic. Yeah, this where the loss of innocence and stuff was because they didn't want to be, they didn't want to be hustling for money. They didn't have any, the loss of innocence and their lack of humility is because they didn't want to have to be in survival mode. They didn't want to be daily. Okay, so these people are greedy. Because this person was greedy, this authority figure here that's in grief. That's why this rebellion against David, I mean, well, we're just speaking on this energy here. That's why they were being divinely guided to divide this group and to, and they were not running away from that. They were not triggered by that. And so this rebellion against this father figure or this authority figure was not actually toxic. It was to neutralize something toxic because out of greed, this person was greedy. This authority figure right here, this father, whoever it is, this leader, was greedy. And so when this group here rebelled against him, it actually was not something toxic. It was, well, even if it feels that way, it's creating all this pain and stuff. You know, because he lost something so close to him due to his greed. Lost his innocence, forgot the importance of humility and ethics and morals and stuff because of greed. Not wanting to have to struggle for money, not wanting to have to be in survival mode, not wanting to have to like do a daily hustle. They didn't want to be on the hamster wheel anymore. Oh boy. Oh, and I did get your message. You know who you are in the email. I won't say your name online. But yes, I do still do love reads and stuff. And yes, I will put some up for you. That's not the first time someone's asked me that. I just kind of have to go with what, you know, the Most High has come out. But yes, I do. And those are fun to do. Yeah, so this is when Daniel's in the lion's den now, alone, lions all around him, hungry lions too, but that divine light is shining down, protected him. He's got God's protection. I mean, this says single, but I'll just say because he's alone. He's in there, this masculine, I mean, there's a lot of masculine energy on the table again today. I'm talking to some masculines for sure. Or about some that you'll know this story. They were some group or some was being divinely guided, and they came towards him and rebelled against him. But it wasn't actually, even though it's painful and full of grief, and you lost someone you love, someone they loved. It actually is not the worst. I mean, it's so hard to say that when you lose someone, though. To say like, oh, it was part of God's plan, or oh, it was, you know, for your best good. And I mean, I would never be insensitive to someone like that, because I know what it's like to be in grief and someone say dumb things like that. I'm just reading the cards here, and maybe, I mean, I hate to be this way, because I mean, this is going to be kind of a trigger warning a little bit. Just keep in mind, they're only for entertainment, but like, maybe if this wouldn't have happened, This kind of softened this person from when they kind of got to where they weren't open or trusting, and they weren't valuing humility anymore. Like, this person had to be humbled, and I guess the divine, I mean, that's hard to say because that's so insensitive or whatever, but it is true when you lose someone that you really, really, really deeply love. There really is nothing else that will bring you down, that will humble you and bring you to your knees, you know? Something like that. Because they had become, they lost their innocence and their value for humility and their kind of their ethics and their morals, and their heart was closed and not open, and they weren't able to trust, or and they overthought stuff and projected stuff, and that was out of greed, you know, not wanting to have to be on a daily hustle to survive, not wanting to be on an endless hamster wheel. But that got them into the lion's den, where they're alone, surrounded by lions, hungry lions. I mean, the good news is the divine is in this whole situation, though. But the divine is shining his light down on Daniel, so he was protected. You know, he may be alone, but he is protected by the divine. Yeah, because they're alone and not happy. There's no happiness in this lion's den. Yeah. Yeah. They're alone in this lion's den, and they're unhappy about that. But they are coming to a realization. They're gaining awareness, and they're finding something out, and something's coming to light. Somebody might want to come together, have a reconciliation, a spiritual union, a soul contract. I don't know. Be careful. Because they're right in the middle of some heavy-duty stuff. They might send you, this title of this song right here is Sweet Nothings. They might send you some sweet nothings because they're in pain. They're not happy. They're alone in a lion's den. But they do still have the divine's protection on them. And they are realizing and becoming aware and finding out. And some things are coming to light. But maybe that's kind of because God had put them there. Had to break their heart severely by the loss of something like that. To even break this, you know. That's always because God has something up ahead that we can't see. That he's got to have all hands on deck, and he can't have you distracted with lower vibrational shit. Okay? Okay, I'm switching to Kipper. I'm going to clarify with Kipper now. Oh, hit that like button if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it so very, very much. Helps me out so much. Please don't make me a broken record. You need me, I need you, right? Yeah, somebody might be whispering some sweet nothings. Yeah, this was about some sudden wealth. That was what was behind this rebellion. This group but this group was being divinely guided. They were following divine guidance. They were being divinely divided to move away from this sudden wealth. Monica. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this father, this authority figure here wants to say hello. Somebody's name might be Ray. Somebody's name might be Luke. Somebody's name might be Vinny. Or somebody's whole attitude might be kind of laid back. It might only be for 1 or 2 people. Don't get too focused on that. Yeah. This might be something that's not necessarily poisonous or unhealthy or toxic or anything, but it's at a distance. Whatever this is, it's at a distance from you, or maybe it's at a distance in the past. Yeah, this person, you know, what caused, there was, again, we've got this again. It was out of greed. And there was a greedy false person that was blindfolding that masculine. And see how she's covering her face so he couldn't really see her or see her true motives? I've said this before. I saw this a couple of days ago. And this person may or may not have colored red hair, but... yeah, what was behind this unethical behavior that made them arrogant and not, value humility or anything, or kind of lose their innocence here, over money, over greed, was this false person here. Could be a female. I mean, in this card, I'm just going to read the card as it is. It's a female. Yeah, and now they're in the lion's den, alone, unhappy, but they are coming to some realizations. They're becoming aware of some things. They're finding some stuff out. Some stuff's coming to light. This is I Run. The title of this song is I Run. About this courtship. Yeah, I pulled them out like this. What was underneath this courtship? What was underneath this courtship was a thief. Yeah. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to pull your oracle. Holy Spirit, what does the viewer need to know the very most? If you want to know what's at the bottom of stuff, it's always money. Follow the money, right? Yeah. I run. Somebody's a runner. They run. Maybe it's D-R-U-G-S runner. Something. They run stuff. This thief or something. I don't know. It could just be they're trying, somebody's, their typical MO is to run. Well, they're in the lion's den now. They can't run nowhere. But it is, this situation is really intense. And remember at the very beginning, it said drama. So there's a lot of drama, but the divine is in it all. There's a divine intervention happening here because there's something important happening here. I just looked at this. Yeah. It says, so in the traditional tarot, this is coffin, but in the traditional tarot, this would be the death card, which we know that death, it rarely ever means like a physical death, but it's more talking about a transformation from like one state to another. Something's not over for someone who, but this was in reverse, someone who's not in high honor. Okay. You may be coming together with somebody like in some type of reconciliation. This might be or seem like a spiritual union or like a soul contract. That might just be like a side note for one person. Or maybe that has something to do with this story. Someone's holding on. That's the title of this song. Someone's still holding on. Someone's holding on. Oh, you got the witness truth. Reflect on your personal observations and experiences. Ensure that your account of events is honest and clear. Your perspective is valuable in understanding the full scope of a situation. Yeah. So what you... Yeah, like I was saying in the beginning, you know, when I say, hey, these are for entertainment purposes only take what resonates, leave, you know, the rest. When I say, check the spirit behind every message that you receive, including mine. I mean, that's kind of what I'm telling you to do is when, you know, check the details. It's like, yeah, make sure that your own personal account of a full, take a bird's eye view of the full situation. Make sure that that's honest and clear, because we can filter things through our pain, our grief. You know, we can filter things through what we want, like money, or it doesn't always have to be money, like 3D money or whatever, but like, yeah, our greed, whatever that is. We can filter that through our sexual attractions towards people, our emotions through, I mean, the whole situation can end up really clouded that way when there's pain and money and greed and betrayal and rebellion and false people and courtships and, right? So what it's telling you is like reflect on your own personal observations and experiences and ensure that your account of events is honest and clear. Yeah, not driven out of your own. I mean, we all have that, right? Where we side with ourselves. It's always them. It's their fault. Or we blame ourselves. We can all do that if we have problems, you know, like with guilt and stuff like that. So, yeah, try to just really balance that. And that's what I'm kind of asking you to do when you're even listening to these messages. It's like, always lean in and trust, you know, pray about it. Like, trust your connection to the Most High God first, even in situations like this, right? Second, your own personal intuition, your own spiritual gifts like that. But additionally, like, look at things logically, filter them through like critical thinking and stuff. You know, like how a detective has to do, right? But at the same time you're doing that, we have to remember that your perspective is your observation, you know, as a witness, your perspective, I mean, just a witness to the situation or whatever, Maybe you are going to witness something, or you have to witness to something. I don't know. I mean, you know, I could be talking to a lot of different people about a lot of different things, right? But your perspective is valuable. And I think somebody in the lion's den right now who's all alone, it's a masculine I'm talking about here. I'm sorry. I'm just going to call it. Is not happy. But they are coming to realization and awareness and finding out some stuff that's coming to light. And, you know, what was behind this courtship was a thief. Ouch. You know, because now they're in the lion's den. But, you know, the divine's shining their light down in there. You know, there's still protection. There's still divine protection. Get them out of there without one hair touched, right? And like I was saying to you, something's not over for someone who was not in high honor. And I really think in that, whatever that situation is, your perspective is valuable. It helps to understand the full scope of the situation. Okay, well, I hope you got something out of that. And if you did, will you please hit the like button? I would appreciate it so very much. If you haven't already subscribed, won't you please sub up? I would adore to have you. Don't get scammed by anybody. If you see my content, this is the only channel I post this kind of content on, so anywhere else, that's not me. That's pirated content or audio. So just report them and ignore them. You know. Okay, you guys. Until next time. Be so blessed, my friends.